All right, we're gonna take that opportunity to quickly take a look at these Mermail cards. People keep coming into this chat and asking, have you seen the Mermail cards? Have you seen the Mermail cards? So let's use this little bit of downtime in the coverage to look at these new Rage of the Abyss Mermail Atlantean cards. We have Mermail Shadow Bodyguards, Water Sea Serpent effect. It is always treated as an Atlantean card. Oh, is this the first card that is both a Mermail and an Atlantean? I think so. That's pretty cool because everyone knew all the time anyways that these two archetypes were made to be played together, so you might as well, like, you know, but okay. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can discard one card to the graveyard. The levels of all water monsters you currently control become 7 until the end of this turn. Okay, that helps you, I guess. I mean, back in the day, you would have summoned Abyss Gyos with that. I don't know if there's a new one here. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, special summon a level 4 or lower Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck, except Mermail Shadow Bodyguards. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except water monsters. Okay, well, I'm happy to see that this does have a proper lock on it. Being locked into waters though still has a lot of powerful options. I'm thinking Bahamut Shark Toad mainly. That's really powerful still. But the first effect is really nice because this is another card that tutors Neptibus, right? And while Neptibus was not really, I mean, it wasn't part of the first wave of Mermail support, but then when Neptibus came out, it kind of became the most important card, I feel like. It was kind of the most important card in Atlanteans for a long time after it came out. It was like, can you have access to Neptibus or not? So this card helps you access it. You know, you can, like, I don't know what you would do. You can send this for Genex Undyne or whatever else, you know, pitch it for an Abyss Tias. And then you can tutor out that Neptibus and definitely do some crazy stuff with it. So that's all right. It's a good card to start with. We've got Abyss Rin, the Atlantean Spirit, a level 3 water aqua, always treated as a Mermail card. Okay, so this one is called Mermail, always treated as an Atlantean. This one is called Atlantean, but always treated as a Mermail. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. You contribute this card from your hand and one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or field. Take a level 7 fish, sea serpent or aqua monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Also, it locks you into waters from the extra deck. So this, it does go -1 unless you send Dragoons or this one or whatever. Like if you send an Atlantean card that has a good effect, then it's not a -1. And it tutors out all the level 7 Atlanteans, basically. Which I don't think Megalo is Megalo good enough to still see play? Maybe not. It definitely searches Tias, which is really good. Because Tias, I think up until today, Tias was not really searchable in any realistic fashion inside the Mermail deck. Right? Because it's not a Sea Serpent. So you can't search it with Dragoons. This might be the first card in Mermail that can search Tias. So that's interesting, because Tias is probably the best one in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Out of the level 7 Mermails. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and discard one card to the graveyard, draw one card. Ooh, I love this effect. This card is phenomenal. This graveyard effect is really cool. This card is not better than this card, but it's cooler. Because you can, like, the idea here is you banish it during your opponent's turn, discard one of the OG Atlanteans, like heavy infantry, draw a card, and then pop a card. Really, really cool. Definitely would have seen a ton of play back in the day in the OG Atlantean Mermail decks. I'm not sure if searching the level 7s is important enough today to play it, but I would think so, honestly. This seems like a good card still. We've got a new rank 7. Okay, so here we go. This is what this is meant to turbo out, I guess. New rank 7. It needs 3 level 7 monsters, though. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon it by using a Atlantean or Mermail Xyz monster you control. Ooh, Bahamut Shark. Summon Abyss Trite. Summon this. Okay. I guess you can do that. Once per turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card and send 1 water monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Return up to 3 cards your opponent controls to the hand. Okay, so that overlaying Abyss Trite into this doesn't make sense because you don't have 2 materials. Can you use this effect going first? It says up to 3, but I don't think you can do 0, right? You can't activate it if your opponent has no cards. It is a really strong it's a really strong effect going second because it sends an Atlantean for cost from your deck and it bounces cards, so that's really powerful. But going first, it has no applications unless you can give your opponent a card. If this Exceed Summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card to the graveyard. Special 3 level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monsters from your hand and or graveyard. Okay, solid effect in the graveyard as well. It's a good card. Definitely a good card. I like it. It kind of upgrades Abyss Gaios, right? Abyss Gaios was a good rank 7 in 2013. But nowadays, it doesn't seem fitting anymore that is your rank 7 boss monster. So this one is an upgrade to it, I think. Pretty solid going second, especially. And then we have Neptabyss, the Royal Mermail. Link 3. 2+ monsters, including a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster. You can only use the 2nd and 3rd effect once per turn. Your opponent cannot target water monsters. This card points to with card effects. So a Sprite Elf, but only for waters. If a water monster is sent to the graveyard to activate a card effect, you can take an Abyss equip spell from your deck or grave and add it to your hand or equip it to this card. Okay. If this card is destroyed by your opponent, you can add an Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. This seems okay. I would say overall, compared to other rank 3 monsters, this card is not that good. But I would say you probably still play it because you will be locked into water, right? You will be locked into water, so you are struggling to find good options, right? Like I said, you can make Bahamut Shark Toad. You can make the water rank 7s, but I don't know what else you can really do. So this gets you the OG Mermail equip spells, which can negate spells, right? So that's okay. Yeah, it's solid. Dragite, if you go into tuners, which you could with Deep Sea Diva and stuff, but okay, yeah, solid card, but nothing crazy. It's all right, though. And then we have Abyss Sting Triina. Isn't this the same one here? No, this is a different card. Okay. Abyss Sting of Triina. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the 3rd effect of this card's name once per turn. Special summon an Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, equip it with this card. Oh, okay. So this card makes this card add a monster reborn, basically. That's solid. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. You can banish this card from your grave, then target up to 3 fish, sea serpent, or aquas, or banishment, engrave or banishment, shuffle them into the deck. Okay, recycling and reborn. Solid card. Solid card. This is cool. I like these cards. My only problem with this is the direction that Mermail has taken in, like, I want to say 2015. I was a huge fan of Mermail in 2013 and 2014. It was a really, really cool combo deck that had a lot of grind game as well, which has been kind of thrown out of the window in 2015 when Neptabyss came out, and it turned it into like a super crazy combo deck that did so much on turn 1 if it had Neptabyss, and then Mooling Glacier, Hand Rip, and all that kind of stuff. So the reason why I'm not sure if I'm gonna like these cards when they come out is because when I'm thinking of these cards, I'm thinking of old Mermails, right? The boomer in me thinks like, oh, these cards are really cool in old Mermails. But obviously that's not how people are going to use these cards, right? People are going to try to find the most degenerate ways of hand looping with Mooling Glacier and so on and so forth, right? So However, I do want to say, I think if that's the case, I don't think these cards are the problem for that. I don't think any of these cards are badly designed or too broken or would be the problem in this case, right? If anything, it would be Mooling Glacia / Neptibus. The old Neptibus, not this Neptibus, right? Atlantean Prince. Those would be the cards that I would look at if I would call anything imbalanced about the water decks, right? Like these cards are fine. These cards are good, but they're not problematic in terms of their design. So yeah, I like these. These are cool. And then we have this, which is a new spell card, Turmoil of Sea and Flames. Normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Activate one of these effects. Discard a water monster to the graveyard, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy it. Destroy a fire monster in your hand, then you can draw one card. Oh, so this has different effects depending on which deck you're using it in. Are you using it? Oh, this is a Fire King versus Atlantean card. That's really cool. I don't know if this card is going to be good, but the flavor here is very nice. It's like you can use it in Fire Kings to destroy your fire monsters in hand and draw a card, which is kind of like a mini Fire King Island, right? Like if your Fire King Island gets stopped, you can still pop something in your hand. Instead of a search, you get a draw, but it's still kind of okay. And then in water, this doesn't count as activating a water effect, so it doesn't trigger Atlanteans. So I don't think the flavor works quite as well in water decks. I think this card is significantly worse in water decks than it is in fire decks. I should say that. In fire, because basically in fire it can do something going first. In water it can only do something going second. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your grave, then target a level 7 or 8 water or fire in your grave, special summon it. Okay, and it gives you a small, like if your opponent breaks your board and you have this card in your grave, it gives you some follow-up. This card is okay. It's not crazy. I don't see myself playing this in water decks ever. I could see myself playing this in Fire Kings. If it ever gets to a point where you want to replicate the effect of Fire King Island, you want like more cards that do something that pop your fire monsters in hand. It's okay. Nothing too crazy though. I really like the idea behind it though. I really like the artwork, the fire against water theme, different effects in different decks. I feel like that's a really cool thing that they haven't done before, where you can use a card in two different, completely different contexts, right? Pretty nice. Could be a quick play. If it was a quick play, it would genuinely be a good card. Yeah. In both decks, right? Like if you could use this as a disruption in water decks, it could be okay. And in fire decks, it would also be really nice. You know, in your opponent's turn, like pop Kirin in your hand, draw a card, trigger Kirin, trigger Garunix, all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool. But it's a normal spell, which makes it kind of underwhelming, but I still like the design on it. Pretty cool.